Today, what I'm doing, I am actually doing Greek meatballs. We're making with chicken. It's part of a chicken meatball bowl. I've made a platter and a bowl. You can have it with brown rice and like chopped up salad. I made a tzatziki sauce. So I'm going to quickly show you how I did these meatballs, because they're really yummy and different as well. You know, I've only really had meatballs in Italian foods, you know, like a spaghetti meatball. And I thought, oh, it sounds nice. It's like with lemon zest and, you know, fresh thyme and mint. So here we go. So here I have a pound of ground chicken. So there's my 1 pound. So I'm going to use a half a teaspoon of salt. So I have some cumin here. So I have some ground cumin. So that was crushed oregano leaves. We have the salt and pepper, the cumin, and now we're going to have crushed red pepper flakes. You don't have to add these if you don't want to. It's a little tiny bit of spicy. Yeah, if you're definitely not into spicy. Then we're going to have a quarter of a cup. So we're going to half of that. So we put that. Then a quarter of a cup of thyme. Yeah, so it's fresh dill, fresh mint, and it's all chopped. And then we're going to add some zest of a lemon. All right, with the lemon, make sure you don't go too far down on the white because it gets like nasty. Okay, so we're just gonna take the very, very light of the skin off. Onion and garlic. So we're going to do some onion and garlic. A couple of cloves of just. All right, so I'm going to mix it up. Right, and then we're going to start to form some meatballs. There's no dry mixture in here like breadcrumbs or anything like that. It can get a little sticky. So what I do with the glove, I'm just going to grease my gloves with the olive oil.
That's smart.
It makes it a lot easier to form these perfect little meatballs. My pan is getting hot. Let's just turn that up a little bit. They think you can use an ice cream scoop as well.
Yeah, I thought about that too.
Yeah, you could grease that up. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put them in the pan until they're golden brown and they're cooked thoroughly. Internal temperature of 165. So I'm going to drop them in the pan. And you hear the sizzle, I'm sure. And it smells so good. The lemon and the mint and the tomato.
So it's just a little bit of oil in the pan there, right?
Yeah, what I did, I used spray. I used the Barillo olive oil extra light tasting spray. That's what I used for the pan. It works so well. I don't like the really like strong taste of olive oil on my food, you know. It's like, and that one I feel like tastes kind of light and nice. I've nearly finished rolling my meatballs, and then I can show you what else I did. I also made a tzatziki sauce. I'm not going to demo the tzatziki sauce because we have had it in the past. All right, so this is your grain bowl. So I have brown rice at the bottom with the chicken meatballs that are done. Over like lots of.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Leafy greens and olives, a little bit of feta. There is my tzatziki sauce. As I said, it calls for Greek yogurt. I use plain yogurt because sometimes I think Greek yogurt is very thick. And it's got the dill in it. It's got lemon, garlic, little chopped up mint there just for the top for garnish. There's my platter if you want to do like a nice Greek platter. Have a beautiful avocado. I'm just going to add it because it's so beautiful. And the water of the week this week is lime and mince.
Oh, lovely.
I'm on the green theme.
I love that. It looks beautiful. That was perfect for our spring recipe there.
Yeah, like
it's gorgeous and so colorful.
I'm making an Italian frittata, and actually I didn't even know frittata itself is actually Italian. I learned that. I actually was in Italy in the summer and they called it an Italian frittata. I was like, I want to look up the recipe again. And you kind of use a lot of ingredients, very like hearty ingredients and very like ingredients that are very much found in that region. The first thing that I'm doing is I'm softening on my potatoes. So I have like 3 potatoes. I peeled and chopped. You don't need to like saute them and make them, brown them at all, but you do want them to be a little bit softer. You can always cover the pan to make that go a little bit quicker. The next thing I have are some canned artichoke hearts. I love using canned artichoke hearts. First,
they are so good.
In general, A, they're delicious, and B, they're so high in fiber. artichoke hearts. Most people don't actually get enough fiber in their diets during the day. So just a really easy thing, add it into a salad, add it into eggs. This already smells so good. I know it's like I put 2 things in it, but it already smells so delicious.
That's all it takes.
Before I add anything else, I want to just add actually my salt and pepper. I always like to add it to my ingredients instead of the egg. I find when I add it to the egg, it just tastes a little bit too salty. And when I add it to here, the flavors kind of go, the salt and pepper kind of just into the egg a little bit more seamlessly, if that makes sense. So I have the salt and pepper. I have my artichokes and my potatoes. Smell so good. And again, you want the artichoke heart. You can use frozen, you can use canned. I use canned, so it's easier, but you can really use whatever you want. Obviously, this is also sauteing in some olive oil. The next thing we're going to do is add some cherry tomatoes. You can add any tomatoes, but cherry tomatoes are definitely sweeter, so that's what I like to add. The colors already are so nice and so like fresh looking. You don't want to cook down these tomatoes too much because then they cook down and they become, you know, a little bit more runny than we like, but we just want to kind of soften all of this up. And the good thing about this is all of these ingredients don't need to be like browned or sauteed. You just kind of want to get the flavors all in together. And then we want to make sure that all of this is flat in the pan in pretty much one layer. Then I found these mozzarella balls. I found these at Trader Joe's. You can use any sort of fresh mozzarella cheese or shredded, whatever you want. They're so good. And they work perfectly in this recipe. And so I'm going to pour them in there. And again, I'm just going to, you don't really need to cook these, but you want to just kind of spread them around to make sure we get, you know, a cheesy bite in every single bite that we have. And we're just gonna make one, for the most part, one single layer. We don't wanna let the cheese sit too long without the egg, because then it's gonna start to melt. I have about 6 eggs in here, and you wanna beat them very, very well, because we wanna make sure that they get fluffy. Frittata is all about making it a fluffy egg. Then you wanna make sure the egg gets all around, coating all of your vegetables, all of the ingredients. We're gonna let this sit on the stove just till kind of the bottom gets cooked a little bit. So like for a minute or two, just kind of let that get cooked. And then what's really gonna fluff this up is putting it in the oven. So I'm gonna put it in a 350-degree oven for about 10 minutes or so. So again, we don't want the whole egg to be cooked. I'm gonna put this in my oven for about 10 minutes. And it's gonna get super, super fluffy. I don't even have an after to show you because I wanted to show you how quick it takes to make. I'm putting my timer on for about 10 minutes, and in 10 minutes, it's gonna be super, super fluffy. Such a great meal. It's gonna be hearty because the potatoes in there, so we're getting some really good heartiness in our egg, and it's just it's a good breakfast, it's a good lunch, it's a good dinner. We keep leftovers, so you make this big frittata, we keep it in the fridge for a few days, and we honestly microwave it and eat it for breakfast. It makes really good leftovers. It's super, super easy. You're getting tons of nutrients and just delicious flavors. So again, you don't need to find those little mozzarella balls. They do sell them at Trader Joe's if anybody is nearby one, but you can get any sort of either fresh mozzarella or more processed mozzarella. That's fine, but I would keep it to mozzarella because it's a little bit of a more mild cheese. Just the top needs to cook a little bit longer, but you can see that it's already gotten a lot bigger. It's a lot puffier. You definitely can brown the vegetables a little bit more, but you really don't need to, especially with these vegetables. Obviously, if you're using peppers and onions and things, it's probably
You might want to get them more brown. Yeah.
Gonna brown them a little bit more before the oven's not gonna brown them as much. You can also finish off with like a minute or two in the broiler. I wouldn't do more than
That's smart. Make sure you're using a pan that can go in the oven.
Yes.
Just as a side note.
Most it's actually most pans can, but always check.